Bill, what's up, my man?
What's up? I didn't just get up. I had to get up. I've got 12-week-old puppies. They got to go outside and poop. And so I was on poop duty before I talked to you.
Bill, let me tell you something. I found a dog. I've been talking about this on the show.
Who doesn't poop?
Well, it doesn't. It refuses to poop outside. It's a Yorkie, and I found it.
Oh, Yorkies poop inside.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They're called inside Yorkie poopers.
But it also pees. The poop I could actually deal with if it just pooped in the same location.
No, poop you can't deal with. In certain forms, poop you can deal with, but poop comes in many guises.
Yeah, well, thankfully he poops and it you could just pick it right up. But he also pees, and I have white carpet, and it's
get rid of the carpets. Get lots of paper towels and cross your fingers.
Well, I actually today I had my one of the people on the show. They're fake because I found this dog and I go, you know what? This is a nice dog. It's affectionate. I'll keep it until I find the owner. I never could find the owner.
Is there anything? Is there such a thing as an outdoor Yorkie? An outdoor dog Yorkie?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Why not try and push this dog outside and see what a Yorkie does as it lives outside?
I'm trying to. I've tried to do everything, and I've just figured out I'm not a dog person.
It could be a whole new trend, a ravaging Yorkie terror.
Terrorizing the neighborhood?
Terrorizing the neighborhood, spilling garbage cans over, attacking major dogs. Yorkies, it's possible.
See, this is the great part about William Shatner, is that he is somewhat insane, and I say that in an endearing way. Like
insanity is an endearing quality.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a little weird, right?
I mean, you put out the albums and stuff, the spoken word albums. He has a good sense of humor about himself, but those are somewhat crazy. And he's just you're an eccentric guy, I guess. So how many puppies do you have now?
Well, at the moment, it's a long story, but the big dog, the stud dog, Doberman, is old. He's 14 years old, and we thought, well, he's getting ready to pass, and so we extracted some semen from him, and we got some puppies, and so now we have two puppies, and we've always had two Dobermans in the house. So Starbuck refuses to die. He's like getting younger and playing with the puppies. So now we have 4 dogs in the house.
Your dog is like, listen, me die? Are you kidding, Bill? You're going to die before I die. Yeah. That's what the dog's telling you.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
You are extremely and I'm going to talk about all your projects here in just a second, but you're extremely spry for. How old are you now?
I'm 52. What are you laughing at? Why are you laughing?
Right. Well, because I only thought you were 42. So
yeah, I'm older than you think. A lot of projects, indeed, and so many different things. But one that I wanted to tell your audience about is on the Sci-Fi Channel. Is a really weird or what series, and that's the name of it, Weird or What. So we take weird events. Two guys are cleaning the windows outside a New York building. They're 40 stories up, and the ropes break and they fall. And one guy falls to his death. I mean, imagine falling 40 stories. The other guy lands and barely is bruised.
How does that happen?
Weird or what? So the whole idea of the show is to try and scientifically analyze a weird event and see if you can come up with a scientific explanation. Another weird thing, mummies. They're 3,000 years old from Egypt, right?
Right.
The coca leaf is indigenous to South America. Cocaine was only known in South America, the coca leaf. But there is a trace of cocaine in a mummy garment, if you will, and the cloth surrounding the body of 3,000 years ago. How is that possible?
I don't know. You're going to investigate this on the show?
Investigative journalism, exactly.
How? Let me ask you something. How does a show like this come about? Are you involved with this, or do they say, you know what, William Shatner would be great to host this show, and they hire you as a host, or are you more involved?
It could go either way. As we speak, there are people looking at shows that I've offered them for sale. Conventions. Who goes to a convention? Why do they go to a convention? What there are conventions for everything. Health and athletics convention, a prostitute convention. It goes on and on. Everybody has a convention. Who goes to them and why? I would host a show examining who goes to those conventions. That's a show that I've got out there right now for sale. So if I were able to sell it to a network, they would hire me as part of the package, and I would produce and act and be the host in it.
Is that part of William Shatner? He's in his 80s. Is that what keeps you young? Is that you keep working? I mean, because a lot of people
look at the great ideas.
I know, but a lot of people would get to get up there, and you've accomplished a lot in your career. You don't have anything to prove. You have a bunch of money, and a lot of people would say, enjoy yourself. Take time off.
But look at the opportunity. A friend of mine is one of the foremost sculptors in the country. Says, I'd like to make a motorcycle bike, but I want it to look like. And he draws at what it's like a Art Deco piece, a sculpting piece, but it's a motorcycle, and I drive motorcycles. I have a friend in Chicago who makes motorcycles. I get the motorcycle maker and the sculptor together, and the three of us sit around for 2 hours and work out how we would do this thing, make this motorcycle. It's drivable, an advanced motorcycle that looks like nothing else on Earth, and I'm in the midst of this creative frenzy. You're married now again, right? For the fourth time. Does your wife, does she support you in these activities, or does she say, Bill, settle down? Yes, that settle down comes out of her mouth a lot. But it's just the way I am. I settle down, but I'm talking to you about Weird or What, which is a great show. And that's on Sci-Fi, right? It's on the Sci-Fi channel, and it's really popular, and it's really doing well. And I urge your audience to look at it. It's great entertainment. You also have, he has a book, Shatner Rules, Your Guide to Understanding, and you can get autographed copies of that book at williamshatner.com. He has his hands in many different things. I'm writing a new book, got a new album ready to go called Ponder the Mystery. And is this a spoken word album again? Well, Billy Sherwood of Yes has written the music. He sings. We've got 10 to 12 solo artists who contribute to each song. I've written the lyrics. Billy's written the music. I think it could be spectacular. It'll come out in the middle of the summer, late summer, called Ponder the Mystery. William Shatner is on with us. Let me ask you. We mentioned that you were married 4 times. I didn't mention that. I mentioned it. Brought that up. Yeah, I know. I mentioned it. I would have mentioned it, but do you think? Beat me to it. Do you think that? Are you the kind of guy? I have a guy like this on the show who he breaks up and then he immediately gets into another relationship. Are you the kind of guy that has to be married or has to be in a relationship? I think so. Looking back, I seem to have been with somebody all the time. Yeah. And you learn how to be with somebody as the years go by. Do you think that's from something in your childhood, or just, or do you think it's just the way that you? I have a friend of mine who lives in a big house by himself, and I'm constantly asking him, "Aren't you lonely? Isn't it? Don't you want somebody there beside you? Don't you want to?" And he says, "No, I'm happy. I've got all the things I do, and I go home and I watch TV and I go to sleep. And the next morning I'm up. I got a lot of friends. I go out to dinner with them, and I feel badly for him because it's not my behavior. I love staying home and eating at home. And yeah, I'm like your friend. I actually enjoy being home alone, and you'd probably look at me and go, "Oh, this poor guy." But yeah, you're lonely. Yeah, but I'm not. Lonely. Yeah, I'm not. It's just right. And I look at you and I go, "Oh, this poor guy has to put up with all this crap all the time. The dogs, the wives, the this, the that." but statistics bear me out that I'm going to live 2 years longer than you.
You're probably going to live a lot longer than I will, because I mean, you seem to be in fantastic health. Is it true? William Shatner, Weird or What, is on Sci-Fi.
That's true.
Is it true that you don't watch yourself in any of, like in Star Trek? Like you don't watch your own performances?
No. Well, do you listen to yourself?
I don't. In fact, if I ever listen, if we're on vacation, I listen to a best of show. If the best of show's on the radio.
Who are you on vacation with?
By myself. I prefer.
Yeah,
to be alone,
you're not by yourself.
No, but if
you've got a sneaky blonde on.
That's if the show's on, I actually can't stand listening to myself.
There you are. You got that Midwest accent. Stand. And you listen to the word stand. You say, why am I saying stand? I can't stand it. And it's a flat, nasal Midwest A. And you think, it should be broader and more round.
That's exactly what I think. I sit and critique. No, I critique myself and for instance, I go, why didn't I ask William Shatner this? Or why didn't I do this? Or why didn't I make this joke?
We're having a pleasant conversation.
Yes.
And every so often we mention the Sci-Fi Channel, and everything's good.
But is that why you don't watch yourself? Do you critique yourself and say, I would do this differently?
I don't like the way I look. And the aging process is not pleasant.
Is it tough to, for you, it would be very unique, or for people in your situation, because you're kind of frozen in time in a lot of these projects, whether they be movie or the old TV series. I mean, see
I'm
pictures.
Frozen in time in that moment, but fortunately, I've had a progression.
Well, I mean, you aren't yourself frozen in time, but a lot of people. For instance, someone may come up to you and say, "Can I have an autograph?" And it's a picture of you from the old Star Trek series.
That's exactly right.
And it's a constant reminder of, wow, I was young, and
I'm looking at that picture, and it's a pretty picture, and I'm thinking, that isn't me.
Yeah, and it's is it depressing at all getting older? Or?
Well, fortunately, I'm in good health. I'm in great health, and I ride a lot of horses, and I compete on horses, and that's a young man's game, really. And I'm very much in the mix of trying to win. I'm not bringing up the rear, and so I feel good about myself at my age. Most people are stumbling around, banging into walls. I can see the door.
Are you a religious person, Bill?
No. I'm a spiritual person.
Do you believe when your time does come that there is an afterlife?
No, I don't believe that. And that's scary.
I know. I don't believe it either. And every now and then, just that thought creeps into your mind. I'm only 37. The thought creeps into my mind, and I go, oh, my God. For all eternity, I'm gone.
But it's even more immediate than that for you. You're 37, and your testosterone stopped producing it fully at 25. So you're 12 years less. You've got 12 years less testosterone, and your cells aren't multiplying quite, and your hand-eye coordination is decaying. So I mean, every breath you take, things are happening that aren't good. That's even more depressing.
William Shatner really has a way to, pick you up, doesn't he?
Give you a boost.
Your world.
Let me ask you before I let you go. William Shatner, his show Weird or What airs on Sci-Fi.
It's different times, so you'll have to figure it out.
Before I let you go, I do have one or two more questions for you. If you've had just a fantastic career, of course, with all the Star Trek series and all that. I happen to be a big Star Trek fan. I'm a huge William Shatner fan. I think the guy's great. I love just his whole attitude on everything. But what's your biggest regret when you look back at this long and great career of yours? Are there any regrets that you've had?
Well, regret is the worst of emotions, I think. Because there's nothing you can do about it. So all you can do is pine for something you think might have been, but might not have been. The chances of what you think could have happened, it's less likely to have happened than what did happen. So if you're in a place in your life where it's not terrible, and you've got some wonderful things like love or children or peace or whatever it is, you should be happier with the road that you chose than the road you didn't choose, because you don't know what would have happened. You could very well be in dire straits, and further dire straits than you are in.
I mean, I guess he has a point. Really, if you look back, I mean, look at all the things, William, that could have, like, for instance, if you didn't get the job in, I mean, you were acting, you were working, but if you didn't get that Star Trek gig,
well, exactly,
your life would be completely different. It all hinged on that one moment, getting that.
That is quite possibly true. That was the pivotal moment. Everything flowed from that. I often make that statement.
What's your biggest, besides acting and obviously making these television shows and things like that? What else is your biggest passion? You like horses, it sounds like.
Horses and dogs, family. I'm surrounded by that kind of thing, even as I talk to you. You know, there are people who love me, and
there's a horse in the bed with them right now.
That's right, with a horse's head, and let that be a lesson. That kind of love from family and animals is a cloak that some people like myself surround themselves with as life begins to look like it's coming to an end. That is the solace.
It sounds to me, just as a crack sort of diagnosis, it sounds a lot of people get into entertainment because they need the attention and the love of the audience. Now you surround yourself with that. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's...
No. Well, most people do, one form or another. I think perhaps that's the original reason for becoming a performer, but then it metastasizes, and you then become a craftsman and an artist, perhaps, and go on beyond the original motivation. Last
question for William Shatner, who I love, and I'll promote all of his stuff here in just a second. What is the hardest thing? I read somewhere that your father, he died in 1968, and I read it took you never even really got over your father's death. I don't know how he died, but that was very difficult.
Stroke. I don't think it's true that I've never gotten over it. But every being that is nurtured by something, when that something no longer exists, you're changed as a result.
Is that I guess my question was, you've had a few tragedies in your life. You lost a wife, your father, I'm sure other things that I don't know about. What was the toughest thing that you ever had to endure through your life?
The loss of my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a few years ago, and that was
14 years ago. And still think about her every day. The loss of someone you love dearly stays with you, even in the great times. There's always the mystery of why did it happen, and where is it now, and the whole mystery of life and death is in the foreground, because it has immediately happened.
And if there's any silver lining to it, I understand that you did meet your current wife through, she had lost her husband, and you had lost your wife, and you sort of bonded over that. Yeah, well, yeah. Listen, William Shatner, his newest show, Weird or What, is on the Sci-Fi Channel, and new episodes this fall, and it airs all throughout this time, though. I mean, you can pick it up in various...
Thank you so much for saying that.
And what else? You have Shatner Rules, Your Guide to Understanding, and get autographed copies at WilliamShatner.com.
That's a book that's a year old, a new book coming out in late summer called Hire Yourself, and an album, Ponder the Mystery, in the late summer, to name two things.
Well, William, we'll get you back on when you have that stuff come out. I love William Shatner. He's a great actor.
I've enjoyed
great guy.
talking to you.
I appreciate it. Have a good day, my man. Thank you.
You too, my man. Bye. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. William Shatner.